It's big 3 day as it is Sunday, and we're going to be going over, of course, Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin in that order. Continuing on with the overall top-down analysis of the very, very high-term timeframes, kind of walking this just one closure to the next. Now that we have a new monthly, there is actually significant new updates, although this will be a rather short video, I do suspect. Now, I do want to say that as we head into Tuesday, a pretty big event, the U.S. elections and all that good stuff, there is one thing that I'm very much certain of, and that is if you see a close race, like Tuesday night, if it's really, really tight, and they can't call it, that's going to be an impetus or at least a bit of a catalyst for markets to come down or, perhaps have the overall reversal that I think actually still many people are looking for as I peruse across, especially crypto Twitter. But until that happens, I do believe that short-term pullbacks are still very likely to beget, major opportunities here. So let's start it off first things first with Solana. Solana actually on the monthly is very interesting to me because with the new November open, we do see that the monthly stochastic momentum has actually confirmed to the upside here, although not looking like super, super strong right now. But the current pivot is 158.5. So essentially, as long as Solana is above there, I really have no major change in this analysis, despite short-term pullbacks, which we did say was likely coming into last week, especially coming into a major event like this. You're going to get a bit of volatility, and in this case, it's probably going to come with a bit of downside. So the real question is, where should or where would theoretically a great higher low be? Well, I mean, again, very simplistic piece of analysis right here, but I do think that it's going to be, this simple, to be honest with you, which is that red 5 exponential moving average here. Again, on the monthly time frame, you can see that Solana, just like Bitcoin, does not like to stay away from it for too long. And even if it does get a closure away from it, price kind of remains within that same area. So I do suspect that before this is all said and done, before probably even Tuesday ends, you do see a test somewhere down around there. Let's call it just mid 150s. I would, however, have a major caveat on that, saying that, hey, look, if Solana does come down below 150, then you got a bit of a problem, because then you got not just another lower high, but you got same lows over here, and weekly time frame starts to look kind of nasty. But for right now, it's higher lows, especially anything above 150 or so. So coming down to like 155 or even 150 even, not a major problem here. Even though that would be, kind of like a decent percentage move. Let's actually see. Yeah, 150, almost 10%, so close enough, I suppose. But yeah, short-term downside is still likely here. As we went over in yesterday and the day prior's video for Bitcoin, you can basically apply the same thing usually blindly to altcoins here. So as I get back into my notes, yes, we spoke about that. Pullback, probably 150. After that, I would be on higher low watch. I expect that probably does align with one of our major fibs as well. Let's just double check right here. And yes, what do you know? That would be the pocket between the 50% level and actually the 618 is 152. So, perhaps somewhere down around there. Still, as long as Solana is above 150, overall, my analysis really is unchanged as, likely preparing for a move towards 200 plus. Moving on from there, we can get into some Ethereum action. Again, Ethereum just the fucking weakest of the big three and continuing to be a complete disappointment, at least in my opinion, as far as price action goes, as to like the expectations of something like this. And Ethereum, what do we have here? Well, if we go down to the daily time frame, we have actually a potential for a lower high, and similar to Solana, I do think that this one does pull back a little bit more, perhaps getting yet another trend line test on the same trend line that has been constructed here since June of 2022, which would at current time, perhaps suggest a move down to about 2,400 or so. Still, however, that would be a higher low, I believe, on the weekly, or very, very close to it. So we'll actually have to see that one. Again, this one, if there is any sort of major breakdown in the market, like this one's going to get absolutely fucking wrecked. Like that's the problem with Ethereum and kind of playing these laggard ones, is that downside moves, they tend to overperform to the downside, getting them nasty red dildo parties. And that just is what it is. But yes, going into the monthly look right here, again, hard to be bullish on this one or looking for like the big move, if you will, until at least closing above that red 5, which is 2650 or so. If and when that does happen, 3,000 plus is extremely likely. You're probably looking at like 3,500, maybe even that same month. But for right now, pressure is still on, and if there's any weakness at all, like any real weakness, again, if that situation that we spoke about at the beginning of this video on Tuesday night occurs, I'm not saying that it's going to, but if that would occur, this thing, not great. Looking at the same thing over here, weekly momentum is actually going to remain to the upside as long as it's above 2,400. So that is why I do have, a major number right there. Again, can come down around there. That's fine. Just don't want to see it close below there on a weekly time frame. Monthly time frame as well is going to still be nosediving here as far as stochastic momentum goes, below 3580. So that is not fucking good. And to put things in perspective, if Ethereum doesn't really get going here in the month of November, let me actually redo this. It is going to reach the same sort of momentum levels that typically indicate a bearish zone. So let's see what that has looked like in the past history. And well, one over here was preceding a pretty nasty move to the downside. The other one over here, more or less just sideways. Although yes, it was relatively boring and the lows were pretty much in anyways. So I don't know how much that actually means for something like this, but again, below 2,400, I have to entertain the possibility of something like this happening. Again, that is not my base case. That is not the main thing I'm looking for. I just always have to be going over, what if present, what if happened, would indicate that I'm wrong, or at least, it's likely to go much, much lower, because in general, I still have the same, I have the same sort of analysis that I've really been having for the past couple weeks. Lows are in and just sideways and up, just waiting for a major event like this kind of resolve itself. Moving on to Solana, Ethereum. Whoops, put it on to a different thing. There we go. My bad. And yes, monthly close on a new all-time high. Hard to hate that. Breakout is real. The weekly time frame let us know last week. Again, on low volatility, trending above all major moving averages, and we do see weekly momentum remains to the upside as long as it's basically closing here or higher. So I expect that this one, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish on the market, Solana will continue to eat away at Ethereum's market cap. I guess the real question is Solana going to flip Ethereum? That I think is, I don't know. It seems pretty damn far away to me. There is technically a measure move to be made off of a formation like this. It's going to be the 2-spot extension on a Fibonacci extension here, which would be somewhere around 0.085. So I expect that, unless if acted upon by some sort of other factor, we should expect Solana to gain kind of from here about a 30% move versus Ethereum, that is. That could come with the market coming down, by the way, just to be clear. Just Solana would have to not lose as much as Ethereum in order to maintain that. Anyways, moving on to Bitcoin, I'm not going to do like a very long analysis on Bitcoin for today. If you want that, check out yesterday's video, the day prior than that, this whole past week, basically. But Bitcoin did come down to our first sort of best case scenario low. It came down there, by the way, on the third day of November, which is, we've seen lows typically come in around the second or third for these election years. Again, not a whole hell of a lot of sample size there, but it is interesting to see that all of them have been early on within the month. So that first one has been fulfilled. If Bitcoin does want to take a step lower, the 38.2 level is where? Mid to low 66. So again, that is my worst case scenario for Bitcoin remaining bullish. If we do see a quick move down around there, again, you'd probably get something like that preceding Tuesday's event. And if you start to see closures below, especially 66, okay, we have something new to be looking at. And I suppose from there we can start to talk about very low 60s. Again, this is not like the main thing that I think is going to happen, but I have to always prepare for something like this, just in case if it does, because with an uncertain event like Tuesday, it very I don't want to make this political, but it very well could be a contested election. It very well, maybe not even contested, but super fucking close. And if it's super fucking close, you know how people are with politics. It could be a real catalyst for some nasty market movements, especially with the way that traditional markets are looking as well. In fact, let's just actually quickly go over to traditional markets, see what NASDAQ's looking like. Again, NASDAQ, I could very easily extend this pullback. I wouldn't be asking for too much here. I think probably does test somewhere around 19,800 or 19,830-ish region. Again, getting that reconnect at least Now, long term, I'd still be long term over the next few months, still bullish in this, but it can pull back a decent amount from here. SPY, same shit as well. Very easily. In fact, probably does test somewhere around just below 5,700. And that could be coming into this week's event. So just be aware of that. What is that going to look like for cryptocurrencies? Look, if traditional markets go down, you're probably going to see cryptos go down as well, although they don't necessarily seem to be super correlated on the upside anymore. But that is what it is, I suppose. So yeah, just be aware of that. With the way that Bitcoin's kind of looking here, 66 is certainly a possibility. So I suppose we'll see more tomorrow, and then Tuesday is going to be the big day. And until that happens, it's going to be very difficult to kind of put more conjecture on this, I suppose. So yeah, there it is. There's your best case scenario for Bitcoin. The worst case scenario as well, if it does happen, low 66, still very much possible here because we are already seeing 68 hit a couple days prior to this event. So I would allow for that. And yeah, we'll come back to it tomorrow with some more analysis, seeing what the new thing is, if there's anything new at all, really, because there really hasn't been a whole hell of a lot new in the last couple of weeks. But it should be a fun week to come, I do believe. And we'll leave things off right there. As always, wish you the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully next time.